Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus A330 pilot and welcome back to another A330 relops. And today there is something brand new in here, in that we are finally doing a relops with the Discover Airlines A330-200, which has just been painted by Jeff's from Hughes by Horizon, and it is an absolutely beautiful livery. So absolutely gotta say thank you very much for creating this one, Jeffs. You've really done an awesome job. Now you can grab it over on flightsim.to. Now the sun is about to set and we are about to get to work. Zanzibar is waiting as our destination today, which is a pretty interesting one that we haven't done before. Typical touristic A330 destination, so I'm really looking forward to this flight. Now, before we start though, you can see that we not only have a beautiful Discover Airlines A330 over here, but also lots of other beautiful A330s. And that's because we are using Say Intentions AI and because we can finally stream their traffic generation and their AI traffic. If you're interested in an ATC add-on, then you may be interested in today's video's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. They not only do your standard IFR A to B flight, but they also do things like VFR, they can do data link if you have a compatible aircraft, they even do a cabin crew simulation. So if that sounds like something for you, then be sure to check them out using the link in the video description or in the pinned comment below. And now let's get straight into today's flight. We are boarding through the one left door, and it's a beautiful repaint done on the interior as well here, adding the original Eurowings Discover feeling to the A330s. Now, the 200s are actually painted like this, and they, well, are leaving the airline at the end of next year, so chances are they will not actually see any repaints to the new Discover Airlines livery anymore. But we gotta admit, this one has its charm, doesn't it? And I do have to say, on the 200, this livery actually looks pretty cool. On the 300, I don't think it fits very well, but on the 200, I think it looks really good. Alright, so let's go ahead and actually start working a little bit. And we are going to start by having a look into today's flight plan. Now, this is going to be our route of the day, and we are basically heading along the Adriatic coast and then through Egypt over to Jeddah and then southbound via Asmara and over Addis, over Mombasa down to Zanzibar. Significant weather chart today is fairly empty on the first half, and on the second half we got that number 2 down there. And this one actually is some moderate turbulence between level 3 and 400, so can't do much about that. Happy with it. In terms of our weather, Frankfurt has clear skies and beautiful weather. The wind is 020 at 11, so the tailwind on runway 18 actually exceeds 10 knots. So we gotta carefully evaluate if we can take runway 18 or if we will depart on runway 07 center today. Zanzibar is looking absolutely fantastic, and our alternate Mombasa is as well, so I'm very positive that we are going to have a good flight today. Now, in terms of the OFP itself, our scheduled departure is 1945, and with that we're going to arrive 20 minutes late, so we are going to take some additional fuel to cover for that. We have 27.7 tons of passengers and cargo on board, which means that both the takeoff and the landing weight are much below their maximums. So it's a very short flight for an A330-200. Now, if we go down to the fuel section, we can see that we can make up 24 minutes at the cost of 3.6 tons. Now, we're not going to burn that much fuel, but something like 2,000 kilos extra for a higher cost index should absolutely be considered. Now, flying across Africa, I don't think we're going to fly below our flight plan or something, so I don't bother with that, but 2,000 kilos extra just to fly a little bit faster sounds reasonable to me. So looking down here, we've got 51.9 plus 500, so that's 52.3, well, 52.4. Let's make that 54.5, and then we should be absolutely good to go in terms of our flight plan. Now, You might have noticed one thing, that's the dispatcher remark over here, that 2 airways would use an invalid endpoint. This is a strange one, because the routing we are using for this flight plan is exactly the real-world routing that was used today. So, yeah, that must be a SimBrief error, or, I don't know, a database error with Navigraph or something the likes, because that routing is used in the real world. I know that. Don't ask me how, but I know that. Alright, and with that out of the way, I suppose we are going to take a seat on the captain seat of our Delta Alpha X-Ray Golf Bravo, and we can start a little bit of work. Now, first things first, let's go ahead and request our catering service, and we're going to use Gate Gourmet for that. And then the engine masters are off, start selector norm, the thrust levers idle, landing gear lever down, wiper selectors are off, battery voltages, let's cross check. Oh, that's quite low on battery 2, but it's still fine. We are going to charge it after all. So external power is coming online, and with that our aircraft is slowly but steadily coming to life. It may take a little while to boot up over here, but let's make good use of that time by going down into the EFB. Ocean 130, Frankfurt to Zanzibar is available down here. Now going into the payload section, we can download the SimBrief data as well, and we are going to use 54,500 for our fuel. Alright, let's apply that load, instant, and here we go. So,
runway awareness, okay.
And let's go down
Meters.
into the takeoff data, and let's try to calculate runway 18 just to see what we're going to get. And we are going to use 3,800 meters. Synchronize the weather. Takeoff weight, let's just say 198. 1 plus F. Air conditioning off, and calculate. And yeah, we can take off without any trouble. Let's actually see what's gonna happen if I insert 15 knots of tailwind. And we can still take off. Okay, that is good. Now let's just calculate runway 7 center, see if it makes any difference. We're mostly interested in the flex temperature. It's actually almost the same. Okay. So technically speaking, we can use runway 18 without any limitations, but we'll see. We'll see. Apart from that, we also need our flight planner down here, and we're looking for Frankfurt, of course. Now, let's see. Airport charts. We need the AGC and we need the APC East. And then we need the departures, and I am going to get runway 18 over here. So let's see. Departing via Cindy, I believe. Yeah, Cindy it is. So then we're looking at the Sierra procedures. So let's pin those two. Alright, cool. Now in the real world, what you can do if you are unsure which runway to expect is just to look at the guidance system over here, because that will tell you your ATC assigned runway and SID, making your life a lot easier. But yeah, over here it says runway 18 as well. Wonderful. Okay, cool. So we now have electrical power applied to our airplane. Then let's turn the ADRs on, 1, 2, and 3. Let's set our frequencies, 122.035 for delivery. And then 121.805 for ground. In the real world it would be 955, but we can live with that. And then we need guard on number 2. Come on, change that. Thank you. And 118, I think it's 035. I don't know, always use data link in the real world. Don't know the ATIS frequency by heart, but let's find out. 11873. Okay, we can live with that. So VHF 1, VHF 2, and the interphone. Alright, cool. So, fueling is already complete, that's good. Let's turn on the bells and the signs. And then, what else do we have? It's an A330-200. The plane has 2 OEBs. And that's incorrect vertical profile during a non-precision approach, and the other OEB is cabin pressure excess cabin altitude. We are familiar with both. For the latter one, if we get the ECAM warning, even if we can't confirm it on the pressurization page, then we are still going to run our checks, or rather our memory items. Alright, it says catering vehicles are in position, and they're actually done already. Awesome. I wish it went that quick in the real world. So then, request boarding. Now, aircraft acceptance, recall. For 3 seconds and it's okay. Nothing in there. The airplane is an A330-200 with GE engines. Yeah, standard 200. Not necessary to say anymore, is it? I take it that's a no. Alright, cool. Yeah, then, what else is there? They are already connecting the tuck, I like that. Well, we've got oxygen pressure, the hydraulics are fine. Let's power up the FADEX, see what we are getting for the oil. Yeah, it could be a little bit more, it could be like 23 for the GE engines, but it's okay, it's going to get us there. They can always refill it over in Zanzibar. Okay, cool, so flaps are checked, speed brakes are checked. Let's release that brake and check the alternate brakes. Looking good. And park and brake is set again. Alright, so with all of that out of the way, let's go down here into the MCDU for a moment. A330-200 CF6 engines, nav database is up to date. We can delete any of that stored stuff. And then init data request. Might take a little while, that's why I'm doing it now. And with that we can go into the pre-flight procedure. And you will notice that this is fairly standard stuff that we're doing over here, so I'm not even going to talk about it too much. Alright, overhead panel is done. So, cargo air conditioning. This is unfortunately, even though it has click spots, we can't do anything here. So, yeah, normally we'd put it to norm, so let's just assume we don't have anything temperature sensitive, which we might very well have on a flight like this. But yeah, take it like that. Okay, so getting up to the front, it's the 20th of June 2025 today. All of that stuff is looking good. Up here as well, down here as well, weather radar calibrated, weather and turbulence please, and the ground clutter suppression can come on, tilt 5 up, TCAS is set, and then we can go into our FMS. Okay, so it's Frankfurt to Zanzibar, alternate Mombasa, Ocean 130, cost NX10, flight level 350 or 370. So departing Frankfurt, runway 18, Cindy 7, Sierra departure. Insert, arriving in Mombasa, actually not in Mombasa, but in Zanzibar. Okay. Let's just quickly see which arrival it is. They have... no, they don't have GLS over there. There's got to be something wrong in here. Let's try that again. That's looking better, isn't it? So, approaches. Let's see. ILS Zulu. Or is it ILS Yankee? Yeah, it's definitely Yankee. Alright, then we delete this again, and here we go. ILS Yankee, approach via, and it's probably going to be Okpol. Just another quick check. Arriving via Uruku, we don't have that, so yeah, it's going to be Okpol. They will just send us direct there. Okay, cool. Then, very important. If we go up over here, we can see that after Enora, actually after Alemu, we're supposed to fly on the airway up on November 301 towards Enora. And then, via Upper Lima 431 to Uvuku. Interesting, and that one's not in database. Let's see. Uvuku. Okay, fine. Then we're just gonna insert it like this. So Alemu up on November 301 towards Enora is in here. And then Enora, Movex, Uvuku. That actually looks okay. Let's just see that on the ND. Yeah, that looks absolutely fine with me. So it's indeed a Navigraph database error with the airway, and the second one is not even available in our own database, in the Lido database in the sim as well. Okay, so be it. So 3,984 miles versus 3,983 miles. Now that's good enough for me. Now let's have a look into the departure procedure. Frankfurt 18, Cindy departure. Let's turn that into nighttime. So straight out to 800, Delta Fox 158, above 800, max 220, left turn, Delta Fox 159, above 2,500, Delta Fox 170, above 5,000, and then Amtix and Cindy. And that's all we need down here. Nice. So, copy active, and that's gonna be the Fox 3. Oh, come on, just open the new waypoint window. So let's add it. Track 3 EDDF18/176/25 PVD entered. Alright, and now we can try that again. So, Fox 3, here we go. That's better. That's indeed very good. Okay, immediate return to Frankfurt, ILS approach, runway 07 right, insert. Nice, and then let's just draw the extended center line down here. And the EO waypoint as well. Okay, fantastic. Now let's go over to the weights, and here we go. Zero fuel 143.7 /25, block fuel 54.5, average wind 3 knots tailwind, and for the fuel figures 3.6 is our alternate, then 2 tons final, and route reserve 1.4. That is not a format error, that's exactly how you enter it, my friend. Here we go, and 0.5 taxi. Alright, says minus 4.6, but no worries, that is gonna get better. So, step outs. We've got flight level 390 at Dilmo. Then we have flight level 400 at Raska. And I will leave that Gatewell 390 out because I don't think we are gonna need that. Now let's see again. Minus 0.4, that's much better. And that's once again with the incorrect route reserves because for some reason it doesn't remember it here. Here we go, 7 minutes extra fuel. I like it. So, config 1 takeoff. Now let's find the rest of that data again. 50 degrees, 526263. like this. And derate climb 2, here we go. Okay, lovely. So that's everything entered that we needed. And let's go up to the FCU. Okay. Ground from flight deck. Mind your ears, oxygen test. Okay, so far so good. Then let's go ahead and get the latest ATIS, and then we can get our clearance. Now, is that ATIS gonna work? 11878, is that correct? Nope, 11873.
You have information Foxtrot.
ATIS Foxtrot.
Frankfurt Airport. Information Foxtrot. 2120 Zulu. Wind 020 at 12. Cav OK. Temperature 21. Dew point 8. QNH 1023. Density altitude 800 feet. Arriving runways 7 center, 7 right, 7 left. Departing runways 7 center, 7 right. Transition level 55 advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold.
So, ATIS Foxtrot is on board, let's get our clearance. Frankfurt delivery, good evening. Ocean 130 heavy information. Foxtrot requests IFR clearance to Zanzibar and runway 18.
I am working on that clearance. Stand by.
So, QNH 1023 is set. And then let's get the IFR clearance before we do the departure briefing.
Ocean 130, information Foxtrot is correct. Cleared to Zanzibar. After departure, fly radar vector Cindy, departure runway 18. Initial climb to 7,000 feet. Departure on 118.505 squawk 5434.
Ocean 130, cleared to Zanzibar, runway 18. Radar vector departure on the runway heading, climb 7,000. Departure 118.505, and say again our squawk.
Ocean 130, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.805.
Ocean 130, please say again our squawk.
Ocean 130, squawk 5434.
5434, Ocean 130, changing to 121.805. Thank you, bye-bye.
Departing from Frankfurt.
Alright, radar vectors on the runway heading, climbing 70. Departure 118.505 and squawk 5434.
Please don't hesitate to contact our friendly crew members.
GSX window blocking the way, and here we go. Alright, that's looking pretty good so far, then let's go for our departure briefing, please. Okay, we're departing. Frankfurt runway 18, radar vector departure on the runway heading. 7,000 is our first cleared altitude, or flight level 70, I should say, and our minimum safe altitude is 4,300. Extra fuel and time, it was about 6 minutes. Oh, it says 1 minute, that's also okay. Let's just re-uplink the winds, just to be safe. Okay, so, what are we gonna do then? Hotspots for the taxi routing. Honestly, anything that's got wheels, but nothing else. Stop margin in case of rejected will be around 100 or 200 meters. Engine outset straight at 25 miles. Climbing 5,000. If we need to come back, then runway 07 right is prepared on the secondary flight plan. We will be overweight, but we can just do the overweight landing checklist, and it's not gonna do too much. Basically, it's just APU on, APU bleed on, provided there's not been any fire, and that's it. APU on, by the way, is a good point, so let's just do that now. Apart from that, I've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. Do you have any questions? No? Wonderful. So that's our briefing complete. Cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity. That's 54.5 tons balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs. Nav, barrel ref, QNH 1023. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Okay, cool. So we should be ready up here. Let's see what GSX is doing. Boarding completed. I like it. Then prepare position for pushback and departure, please. And in the meantime, I'll say hello to our passengers. Liebe Fluggäste, einen schönen guten Abend aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel. Im Namen der Discover Airlines darf ich Sie ganz herzlich an Bord unseres A330-200 auf unserem Flug nach Zanzibar willkommen heißen. Die Flugzeit heute wurde mit ca. 8 Stunden und 50 berechnet. Erwarten einen ruhigen Flug in anfänglich 37.000, später dann 39.000 bis 40.000 Fuß Flughöhe. Ja, das Gepäck wurde jetzt gerade verladen. Wir schließen jetzt noch die letzte Flugvorbereitung ab und dann werden wir uns auch auf den Weg machen. Erwarten heute einen Abflug auf der Startbahn 1.8 in südlicher Richtung und werden dann von da Kurs direkt nach Zanzibar setzen. Machen Sie es sich bei uns gemütlich, lehnen Sie sich zurück und genießen den Flug mit uns und wir melden uns dann im Anflug mit dem neuesten Wetter. Ladies and gentlemen, a good evening from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel. In the name of Discover Airlines, welcome aboard our Airbus A330-200 on our flight to Zanzibar. Today's flight time will be 8 hours and 50 minutes. We expect a smooth flight at a cruising altitude of initially 37, later 39 to 40,000 feet altitude. Thank you very much for being on board. Sit back, relax and enjoy the flight with us. We have just completed our loading, have closed our doors, and we are now finishing up the last paperwork before we are going to start our engines and depart on runway 18 in a southerly direction. After that we will set course directly to Zanzibar. Thank you for your attention. Sit back, relax and enjoy the flight with us. So by now the load sheet should be here. Let's go ahead and enter our stuff. So we have a zero fuel weight of 143.7, CG 25.4. 1437 is correct, / 25.4. Alright, takeoff weight 197.7 versus 198.2 current gross weight, that's fine. So we'll calculate 198 tons takeoff weight and 4.7 units up. So runway 18, 198 is correct. The rest in here is correct. Calculate. So flaps 50, 155, 160, 161. So flaps 50 is in here. 155, 160, and 161. Alright, and that is going to be final. Trim 4.7 up. And that's it. Alright, we're still below 200 tons, so we're going to remain on D-rate 2, and that's just wonderful. Well, let's get our clearance for Pushback and Startup. Boden vom Cockpit. So, bitte bestätigen Sie, alle Bodenchecks komplett, die Türen sind geschlossen und der Pin ist drin. Ja, das ist alles bestätigt. Gut, dann fragen wir nach der Pushback-Freigabe. Frankfurt ground to Ocean 130 Heavy, request pushback and startup.
Ocean 130 pushback and startup approved. Face east.
Pushback and startup approved. Face east, Ocean 130. So, before start checklist. Parking brake. Actually, you guys can disconnect the ground power units down there. Is there anything else they haven't disconnected? No. Okay. So let's do that again before start checklist. Park and brake. Set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 155, VR 160, V2 161, flex 50. Windows closed and beacon on before start checklist complete. So, Boden vom Cockpit. Pushback ist freigegeben, Nase nach Osten, die Parkbremse ist gelöst. Okay, Nase nach Osten, Standby auf den Triebwerken. Come on, GSX, don't fail me. It did fail me. Maybe if we set the brakes again. So, facing east, that's gonna be area 2. Okay. Gut, die Parkbremse ist gelöst und dann warten wir auf Ihr Signal für den Motorstart.
Ready for pushback. Swiss 1 Lima Kilo, cleared for push and start.
Okay, and here we go.
Pushback approved, Swiss 1 Lima Kilo.
So, with the last rays of daylight, we are leaving the gate and are bound to Zanzibar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Discover Airlines Flight 130, departing from Frankfurt with the heading of American International. My name is Lara Meyer, and on behalf of the entire crew, I would like to introduce our captain, Emmanuel, and our first officer.
I gotta say, with this livery, the 200 actually looks quite cool. With many others, I think it looks, I don't know, a little bit compressed. I guess it's just much shorter than the 900 and the 300. But on this livery, it just fits. Alright, our pushback area is over there, so that's where we're pushing to. So, ground flight deck. Wir starten an die 1.
Swiss 1 Lima Kilo, ready to taxi. Swiss 1 Lima Kilo, taxi to runway 7 right via November Yankee 1 Mike 29er. 7 right via November Yankee 1 Mike 29er, Swiss 1 Lima Kilo.
There are 4 emergency exits located, 2 in the front and 2 in the rear. Please take a moment to locate the nearest exit which may be behind. We will be cruising at an altitude of 37,000 feet, and the estimated flight time is...
That sounds strange.
After the meal service, we will come around selling articles from the Discover Airlines shop.
If it would sound like that in the real world, I would probably shut the engine down again.
All Nippon 224 ready for pushback.
Let's just stay inside then, the sounds inside are better.
224 cleared for push and start. Pushback approved. All Nippon 224.
Okay, Pushback beendet, die Bremse bitte setzen. Bremse gesetzt und wir haben einen guten Start auf der 1, wir starten die 2. Engine to start. So, I'm surprised by how many long-haul aircraft there are on the ground over here. I mean, it's almost night curfew. Those should all be flying. I mean, that's probably Windhoek. No, that's gotta be Windhoek, that's the 300. Then we've got probably, I don't know, Mombasa doesn't fly the same day as Zanzibar does. So, I don't know, maybe Maldives and Mauritius. That could make sense. And that one over here, I don't know. So, wir haben 2 gute Starts. Den Flieger bitte zum Rollen vorbereiten. Freizeichen auf der linken Seite und einen schönen Tag noch. Tschüss. And here we go. So, down here is the ramp agent, and he's holding a pin in his hands. After start checklist, please. Anti-ice, off, ECAM status, checked, pitch trim, 25.7%, rudder trim, neutral.
All
After
Nippon
start
224 ready to
checklist
taxi.
complete.
All Nippon 224, taxi to runway 7 right via November 5, November Yankee 1 Mike
So
29er.
all goes to 7 right. That means he's probably
7 right via
cargo
November 5,
aircraft
November
somewhere
Yankee
in
1
the
Mike
south.
29er, all Nippon 224.
Ocean 130, request taxi.
Ocean 130, taxi to runway 7 right via November 3, November Yankee, Yankee 1, Mike 29er.
Ocean 130, request taxi to runway 18. Of course you would get that wrong, no?
Ocean 130, taxi to runway 18 via November 3, November.
Taxi to runway 18 via November 3, November, Ocean 130. Okay, that's easier. I just corrected the engine outset while I saw it, by the way. Should have been 1500. So, lights are on. Clear right side. Clear left side. Brakes off. Let's go. Brake check. Pressure 0. We'll do the flight control check once we're on November. Because after all, we do want to get going. We pushed just about on time, so let's not waste any more time getting to our runway. So clear on both sides. Flight control check. Pull up. Pull down. Neutral.
Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo, ready to taxi.
Full right. Neutral. And the rudders.
Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo, taxi to runway 7 right via Yankee 7, Yankee 5, Sierra, Sierra 29er.
7 right via Yankee 7, Yankee 5, Sierra, Sierra 29er, Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo.
Almost crashed into the All Nippon. That's exactly the reason why I say in my briefings that we gotta be a little bit careful with all the ground vehicles over here in Frankfurt. So whenever we're crossing a road like we're doing right now, be careful. Man, this looks lovely. This looks really lovely. Seeing all those aircraft over here.
Request pushback.
TAM 8071, pushback approved.
Pushback and start approved. TAM 8071.
Alright, so let's hope the All Nippon is eventually going to go somewhere but not on our taxiway. And then I have no changes to our takeoff briefing, but just to emphasize that point again, we do have quite a bit of tailwind on runway 18, so wind shear is a little bit of an option. There is actually a warning on the departure chart as well that wind shear can appear
November, taxi to the gate.
with strong winds, so
Lufthansa 1 Echo November, taxi to parking via Mike 11, Mike Yankee 1, Yankee Lima, Whiskey 3, Whiskey Delta Papa 1, Papa 1.
Rotate the aircraft at 15 degrees and then
Mike
into the
11,
flight
Mike Yankee 1, Yankee
If the
Lima, Whiskey
autopilot
3,
is on
Whiskey
already,
Delta
we're going
Papa
to keep
1,
the
Papa 1,
autopilot
Lufthansa
on.
1
He
Echo
can
November.
wind shear better than we can. Yeah, that's it. Anything from your side? No? Beautiful. Cabin is ready, lovely. Ocean 130, may we proceed via November 8 and Lima?
Ocean 130, proceed via November 8 and Lima approved.
Thank you, November 8 and Lima approved, Ocean 130. That was
TAM
my
8071 ready to taxi.
subconscious, let's overtake the All Nippon
TAM
787.
8071, taxi to runway 7 center via November 15, Lima 20.
7 center via November 15, Lima 20, TAM 8071. Over to tower, Swiss 1 Lima Kilo.
Okay, the right side is clear, the left side is clear, that includes the road, most importantly actually. Alright.
Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo contact tower on 136.5.
Checked. Flap setting.
Over to tower, Lufthansa 3 Lima
1 plus F. Radar and predictive wind shear. On and auto. Engine start selector. Norm. Ecam memo. Takeoff. No blue. Taxi checklist complete. Alright, now we just gotta overtake the All Nippon before he turns left. But of course we shouldn't exceed 30 knots, so back down to 30. Well, and then I suppose we're going to see whether it's been worth it. In any case, we did calculate, actually, didn't I enter 3,800 at some point?
Lufthansa 242 ready to taxi.
Lufthansa 242, taxi to runway 7 center via November 5, November 15, Lima 20.
That's quite different.
7 center via November 5, November 15, Lima 20, Lufthansa 242.
Croatia 415 ready for push and start.
Croatia 415, push and start approved.
And 155.
Pushback and start approved, Croatia 415.
TAM 8071, contact tower on 136.5.
Over to tower TAM 8071.
Okay, so now we do have a small change, and that's the new takeoff speeds 150, 154, 155. So, Ocean 130, are we behind the 777?
Ocean 130, affirmative. You are behind the 777.
Thank you. Alright, so behind the triple, that's fine. He's probably going to 07 center here.
Ocean 130, roger.
So let's make it slow in order not to clip our wings. And of course there will be a little bit of jet blast behind that 777 as well. Always keeping things interesting here. Okay, he's at the holding point, then we may continue. Is he actually lining up? Looks like it, huh? So in front everything is clear. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. Okay, good.
Croatia 415 ready to taxi.
Croatia 415, taxi to runway 7 center via November 5, November 15, Lima 20.
So looking at the
7 center via November 5, November 15, Lima 20, Croatia 415.
So the 500 from the flight plan were actually pretty accurate.
Pushback.
Dolomiti 3 Foxtrot Charlie, pushback approved.
Pushback and start approved. Dolomiti 3 at Foxtrot, Charlie.
Ocean 130, contact tower on 136.5, take care.
136.5, Ocean 130, cheers. Alpha Tower, Ocean 130 Heavy, ready for departure. Man, it's busy. So 13. 6.5. Frankfurt Tower, Ocean 130 Heavy, ready for departure. So, wanted to make sure we're all the way up at
Ocean
the whole
130, Frankfurt Tower, runway 18, wind 020 at 12, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 18, clear for takeoff, Ocean 130. Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
Approaching 18.
Come on. Hey, where's the click spot for the... It's trolling me. Lineup checklist.
Over to departure, Swiss 1 Lima Kilo.
Takeoff runway. That's the 18 intersection Lima. TCAS, Tara, PAX 1 and 2. Off. Lineup checklist complete. Okay, are you happy for a rolling takeoff?
On runway 18.
Sounds good.
Over to departure, Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo.
Takeoff. Manflex 50, SRS, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Knots, checked. Rotate. Always amazing how close the runway end comes in an A330. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav, checked. Okay, pull heading. Heading. Now open climb should become blue.
Ocean 130, contact departure on 118.505.
118.505, Ocean 130. Okay, so let's see if we can at least turn the pack on. Yes, we can. Long radar, Ocean 130, maintaining runway heading, passing 2000, climbing 7000. Flap 0. Speed checked.
Ocean 130, Frankfurt departure identified. Climb flight level 200, turn left, heading 105, vectors to Cindy, then O navigation.
Ocean 130, turn left, heading 105. Say again the cleared altitude, Ocean 130. Full heading, correction, full speed 250. Ocean 130 Heavy, please confirm our cleared altitude. Long radar, Ocean 130, do you read?
Ocean 130, read you loud and clear.
Ocean 130, please confirm our cleared altitude. AP1. Okay, the AI seemingly doesn't want to understand us this way, then let's do another way. Ocean 130, to which altitude can we climb?
Ocean 130, climb altitude 37,000 feet.
Ocean 130, climbing altitude 7,000 feet. Okay. Set standard. Standard, cross check, passing flight level 53.
Radar on 129.355.
Approaching.
Over to Langen radar on 129.355, TAM 8071.
Vertical speed. And speed. Manage speed. 1000 to go. Okay, so let's see if they have any good directs. Ocean 130, request to proceed direct to Nombo.
Ocean 130, proceed direct to Nombo, heading 130.
Direct to Nombo, Ocean 130. And of course you should not say the heading again, that is a bug. Nav and Nombo. So far so good. Alt star.
Ocean 130, climb flight level 200.
Ocean 130, climb flight level 200.
Lufthansa 3 Lima
Frosty
Romeo,
climb 2,
contact
climb
Langen
out,
radar
flight
on
level
133.46.
Okay.
Over to Langen radar on
Okay,
133.46. Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo.
Just a little bit of work involved.
Eurowing 6 Lima Papa,
Well, that's
contact
fine with
Langen
me.
radar on 127.625.
Switching to Langen radar on 127.625, Eurowing
look
6
at
Lima
this.
Papa.
Beautiful, beautiful airplane. The A330 is just my absolute favorite, guys. In terms of real-world aircraft, that is. A350, nice.
Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo, contact
If or when it
climb
comes,
control on
happy. But the A330 is cool as
121.075.
well. Those Neo engines are...
Switching to Reims control on 121.075. Lufthansa 3 Lima Romeo.
I wish we had a good...
Ocean 130, climb flight level 260.
Ocean 130, climb flight level 260. Flight level 260 blue. So I really wish we had a good A330 Neo available that also has all the A330 systems like this one does. Unfortunately, the headwind is still mostly an A320 in terms of the systems. I really do hope that they are going to update that. Man, I could sit here for the next hours. 8:50, well 8:45, then we are down in Zanzibar. So the pitch is coming down, that means we've probably reached level 100. And indeed we did. Okay, we can release our passengers. Well then, clear and copy please.
Dear guests, we are pleased to inform you that the use of electronic devices
Lufthansa 1 Victor, contact Langen radar on 125.2.
enjoy our onboard Wi-Fi service.
Switching to Langen radar on 125.2.
Cruising 370,
Lufthansa 1
optimum
Victor.
373, maximum 397. I tell you what, by the time we reach cruise level, the optimum is probably 375. Let's just request 390 straight away. So, we'll request level 390 in a bit. But in the meantime, I would say enjoy the lovely views outside. Enjoy the last bits of sunlight, and most importantly, enjoy a beautiful African sunrise. in a couple hours. And with all of that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight to Zanzibar. Good morning everyone, the sun has risen and the top of descent is already approaching. Let's take a seat again and start to work on our approach into Zanzibar. Now the first thing we'll need is going to be some charts. So luckily we have those prepared already with the ILS Yankee, and we also are going to go for an airport chart, and that's about everything we need. It's a fairly easy airport. The AOI may be worth looking into as well here on an airport like this, but as you can see, it doesn't really tell us anything important over here. At least not for this particular airport. But again, especially when flying to those small airports, they sometimes have very interesting local regulations that may be worth knowing about before going into there. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and have a look into the AOI. As you can see, there is no ATIS frequency, just a tower and the ground. Fairly simple airport, land on 18, vacate to the right, probably at the end, and then taxi back to parking stand number 3. Alright, so let's have a look into our approach, and this is the ILS Yankee approach for runway 18. Going down into the FMS, what do we have? We have Uvuku and then direct Okpol. That's like 27 miles. I just want to be sure that we don't accidentally overfly Uvuku, because we don't have a clearance beyond this, so let's just do something like this to mark it on the ND, telling us this is our clearance limit. We'll ask for OCPOL as early as possible, but you never know. Okay, so eventually we've got OCPOL above 2000, they say max 230 in the FMS, that comes from the note on the chart over here. Then we proceed towards IMTOM above 2000, and then IMVIV also above 2000, 3-degree glide slope is checked. And for the go-around straight at heading 176, minimum 3000, direct to UPVES, maintaining 3000, maximum 230 knots. That's what we've got down here. So, very easy going. We don't need anything on the radios, however. I'm going to tune Zulu Victor over here, because why not? So, we are landing in Hotel Tango Zulu Alpha, runway 18. So, departed 18, landing on 18. I like it. Okay, for the cruise page, let's say 82/300. Now, weather. We don't have anything over here, but hey, we have air traffic control, so let's make use of them. Ocean 130 requests the current weather at Zanzibar.
Ocean 130, Zanzibar weather. Wind 120 at 10 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers. Scattered clouds at 1500 feet. Temperature 28 degrees Celsius. Altimeter 1017.
Okay, lovely. Let's see if our FO is going to do the readback or if we have to do it. I think we have to. Ocean 130, QNH 1017, the rest is copied, thank you. Okay, MSA 1900, 19 minutes extra, secondary copy active, and that's all we'll need. Auto brakes low. Alright, wonderful. So with that we are done with our setup. That was a fairly easy one. So let's start our briefing. Okay, so we're arriving on Zanzibar, runway 18. MSA is 1,900 feet. ILS approach Yankee, minimum 370. Go around is straight out to 3,000, and then a left turn to that waypoint, and extra fuel and time. What did I just say? 19 minutes. Now this will be a flight director guided ILS approach. Config 3, maximum reverse to keep the brakes cool, and actually I tell you what, we can use idle reverse. This airplane has a brake fan. So that's fine, idle reverse, vacate the runway to the right, and auto brakes. Auto brakes low is going to make that possible. Okay, we've got no hotspots for our taxi-in, stunt number 3. And I have nothing special or non-standard here. Threats? Birds are a possible threat. Zanzibar is one of those areas where you just have a lot of wildlife. So we are going to have a good look outside, and well, we can't avoid them. If it happens, it happens. If one of the birds hits an engine on final, if an engine failure happens, as long as we have sufficient thrust, we can continue for a normal landing. Otherwise, we are going to have to go around. Config 3 may be possible for the go-around, otherwise config 1 will be used in case of an engine failure. Do you have any questions on this? No? Okay, nice. So that's our briefing complete. Guten Morgen, liebe Fluggäste aus dem Cockpit, hier Kapitän. Wir werden in den nächsten Minuten unseren Sinkflug in Richtung Zanzibar beginnen. Flugzeit jetzt noch circa 35 Minuten. Das Wetter in Zanzibar jetzt leicht bewölkt, Temperatur 28 Grad mit einem leichten Südostwind. Wir bedanken uns ganz herzlich, dass Sie heute Discover Airlines für den Flug gewählt haben, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt und gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. In a few moments we will leave our cruising altitude and start our descent towards Zanzibar. The remaining flight time is now approximately 35 minutes. In Zanzibar we are looking at a temperature of 28 degrees with just a few clouds and a light wind from the southeast. We'd like to thank you very much for choosing Discover Airlines for today's flight. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to working again on board of a future service. Until then, thank you very much for your attention, and we wish you a nice and safe continuous journey. Okay, I'm backed up. So let's see, landing at 37, it's 08 right now, so let's turn the seatbelt signs on, half an hour before landing. Man, the 200 just looks great in this livery. So happy that someone has finally painted it. The last missing German operator of the A330. And indeed the only 200 operator, if you don't count the freighter.
Ocean 130, contact Zanzibar approach on 125.39er.
125.39er, Ocean 130. Alright, so let's contact approach. That's going to be on 125.39er. Zanzibar approach, Ocean 130 heavy, passing 14,600, descending 6,000.
Ocean 130, Zanzibar approach, identified. Good morning. Expect the ILS Yankee runway 18 approach into Zanzibar.
Expect ILS Yankee runway 18, Ocean 130. Ocean 130, request the latest weather.
Ocean 130, Zanzibar QNH 1016, wind 180 at 5 knots, visibility 10 kilometers, few clouds at 1500 feet, temperature 28 degrees Celsius, dew point 24 degrees Celsius.
QNH 1016, the rest is copied, Ocean 130. Okay, lovely. That's exactly how you do this when there is no ATIS available. You can always ask the en route controllers, as we did earlier already, but normally it's the approach controller who's really going to get you the weather. You don't just have that at some African places, there are also many places in Europe where you have to do the same thing. Think, for example, Treviso. Now, with that out of the way, the ILS Yankee runway 18 is confirmed, and we've got no specials or non-standards in here. We can already see our destination coming into view over there. And believe me, Zanzibar is a beautiful island to approach, especially when you're just going across the islands over here. In the real world, the water is a little bit more fascinating here because you have a lot of reefs over there, and it's generally a very, very good-looking area. Also, lots of nice beaches, as we can already see from here. Definitely a place where I will have to go to spend some holidays or so if I can't get a long layover there. The layover is of course the very best opportunity to visit new places. The difference between paying to go somewhere and getting paid to go somewhere, I guess. Well, ain't gonna complain. So a couple things that are worth knowing about the island is that they do have a lot of wildlife, and that's not only birds that we could meet on our approach, but it might also be animals on the runway and stuff like that. So we'll have to be a little careful there. Especially prior to landing, scan the runway, have a look at what's on there. Normally they do regular runway checks, and the tower controller is going to have a good look at the runway before giving us landing clearance. But it's Africa. Always got to be a little careful at least, because you never know what exactly you may find. Perhaps no giraffes over here?
Ocean 130, descend, altitude 3000, turn left, heading 150 vectors for the ILS runway 18 approach.
Ocean 150, descend, altitude 3000, turn left, heading 150 vectors, ILS runway 18. Thrust eye, load and descent heading.
Approach into Zanzibar. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow
Okay,
them until
and
we've
we've
arrived
passed
at the gate.
10,000.
Kindly put your tray tables away.
Light signs,
Ensure your
constraints,
seats are in their
LS.
full upright position and fasten your seatbelts.
So,
Once we land,
GPS
our
primary,
Discover
no
Airlines
select
staff
button
will
on.
provide you with information regarding your connection flights on the ground. Thank you for your cooperation. Crew, please check that everyone is seated and has fastened their seatbelts.
Ocean 130,
Captain
proceed
is ready.
direct IMTOM. Descend altitude 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 18 approach.
Ocean 130, direct to IMTOM, descend 2000 until established, cleared ILS 18. 2000 blue, and IMTOM direct, nav. Okay, well, if that's what they consider necessary, then so be it. Beautiful 200. Thrust idle, descent, speed. So, I do hope it's eventually going to load some better textures. But then again, this is not exactly a place in the world where I would expect the highest resolution satellite images to be available. But a little bit more than this, please. Actually, perhaps we can force it. Let's just quickly go into the settings over here, disable dynamic settings. Now it should force the highest resolution set images it has. And, well, let's be honest, this is not a place where we would need the very most of our dynamic settings anyway. Alright. Then let's do the approach checklist, please. Barrel ref, QNH 1017. Seatbelts on, minimum. Baro 370, auto brake, low, engine start selector, norm, approach checklist complete. Okay, so let's quickly go into GSX. We already know which gate we'll be parking at, so might as well prepare it. Parking number 3. Not asking me for a handling service, fine, then we'll just close it again, and that's it. These are some wonderful, wonderful beaches down here in the real world. Okay, so we have pretty much done everything. One thing you may have noticed me doing during the descent phase, we actually got an ECAM warning, fuel wing tank low level. And yeah, it turned out that it hadn't transferred those 2,400 kilos from the trim tank into the main tanks. That is a known bug with the aircraft, even though one that's known for half a year already and still not fixed, but it is a known bug with the aircraft. So the way you can fix this is you just go into the payload menu, and you can see this always updates itself live. So just click apply load again, and then it's going to load the airplane correctly, which is going to transfer that fuel from the trim tanks into the main tanks. Little bug, if you know about it, it's not a problem, but you need to know about it, otherwise you may land almost out of fuel. Alright, so with this done, let's have a little bit of fun. And we are all manual. See, 16 miles out, still no ILS signal, because the frequency is wrong. 111.5 is the correct one. That is better, and 176 is our course. Okay, and look at that, suddenly we do receive
2,500.
an ILS signal. Okay, Cat 1, glide slope, localizer blue. It's interesting that the plane wants to be level this early. I'm not going to complain because it means we see a little bit more, but my feeling tells me we could have been a bit higher. Alt start. Not going to add thrust anymore, the diesel point is right here. Alt. Here we go, approach phase
Ocean
is
130, contact Zanzibar Tower on 121.2.
121.2, Ocean 130. Zanzibar Tower, Ocean 130 Heavy, ILS 18. Block star.
Ocean 130, Zanzibar Tower, winds 150 at 9er, runway 18, clear to land.
Runway 18, clear to land, Ocean 130. So, the field is over there. We'll be approaching over the local capital. Lock. We'll wait until the glide slope comes alive before extending the flaps. We do have rather good deceleration as long as we're in level flight here. Once the glide slope comes alive, then we'll configure the airplane all the way for landing. Okay, glide slope alive. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Flaps 2. Speed checked. Flaps 2. In an ideal scenario, we'll go gear down when we have glide slope star. Glide slope star. Gear down. Set go around altitude. 3,000 set. Flaps 3. Speed checked. Flaps 3. Come on, Kevin, you are ready. Okay, landing checklist. Ecam memo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. good. Nice and stable by the 1000 foot gauge. Checked. So the wind is shifting a little bit left and right here.
Approaching 18.
Checked. Ocean 130, wind check.
Ocean 130, wind 210 at 9.
Okay, 210 at 9, so it's more or less the way it will be on the ground. Wind will lose a couple knots.
400. 100
Land, checked.
300. Minimum.
Continue. So I can't see any animals or anything. But they seem to have quite a sturdy fence over here.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel. Manual brakes. We'll just let it roll to the next one. I could have forced this exit, but why would I?
1,500 meters remaining.
Ocean 130, welcome to Zanzibar.
1,200
Contact ground on 121.7.
remaining.
121.7, Ocean 130.
Excellent landing, Captain.
Could you
The
call
passengers
the
are
ground,
excited
please,
to be here.
and tell them we want to taxi to gauge number 3?
Request to taxi to gate hash 3, sent to ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Abeid Amani Karume International Airport. We kindly ask you to remain seated until the aircraft has reached its final parking position. Oh, and here's a fun fact for you. Zanzibar is known for its beautiful spice plantations, and it's often referred to as the Spice Island. Also, did you know that the island has a rich history as a trading hub? In the name of Captain Emmanuel, First Officer Hines, and the entire
So,
crew,
temperature
we
gives
thank
me
you for
just
flying with Discover Airlines
25, that's good, then we can retract the flaps.
7:40 a.m. We hope you enjoy your stay and have a wonderful holiday.
And start the view, please. Okay, after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear off, after landing checklist complete. Zanzibar ground, Ocean 130, request taxi to gate 3.
Ocean 130, taxi to Terminal 308 via Charlie. Good day.
A taxi to gate 3 via Charlie, Ocean 130. Okay, so we did order GSX ahead of time. Oh yeah, now the vehicles are spawning. Okay, fine with me. So, lots of Fly Dubais over here. This is an airport Fly Dubai frequents rather often. Okay, so slightly to the left and then the first gate on the right. I'm surprised not to see Condor over here, because Condor does fly here as well. And I think both Discover and Condor have very similar flight times. Okay, lights off, radar is off. Okay, so the marshaller is inside, guidance system is inoperative. Two marshallers are inside. I think the aft one is the GSX marshaller, the forward one is the default FS marshaller. We'll be using the aft one, just because he positioned himself a little better. Stop. Okay, APU bleed should come here in a few moments. It really takes a couple of moments. That's realistic, by the way. The real one does as well. Okay, shutting down. Cutting through Old Awesome Park. Alright. So, beacon going off. They're already turning off. And fuel pumps off. Parking checklist, please. Parking brake on trucks. Brake set. Engines off. Fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. So, request deboarding. And then, transponder, standby, and to 1,000. Fuel. We used 49,100, and we were supposed to use, well, 45.5. So a little bit more because we flew faster, that's totally fine, but you can see we really needed those 2,000 kilos that we took extra. Okay, in any case, it's gonna go down into the notes, just to be sure. Yeah, we did already have the performance profile. Okay, so be it. So, IRS is looking excellent. Then we can delete any of that stored data in here. 8 hours 38, not too bad. So we saved some 12 minutes or so compared to the flight plan. That actually makes sense. If you fly 8.2 rather than 8.0, that shoves off about 10-15 minutes, depending on the length of the flight. So 12 minutes is actually quite a good number. Well, and that's all I can offer you today. Do let me know your feedback in the comments underneath the video. I'm really looking forward to it. And finally, if you liked today's flight, be sure to leave a like and comment. And if you like today's ATC, check out Say Intentions AI using the link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for flying along. As always, I do hope you have enjoyed the flight, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.